Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression counselor. Thank you for tuning in to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about coping strategies and practical tools for healing from depression and anxiety. Today's topic is, don't take your recovery for granted. Having spent most of my life battling depression, one of the things I've learned is not to take recovery for granted. Why is this? It's because depression is a chronic and relapsing condition. And this was best described by the writer Andrew Solomon, who's written a book called The Noonday Demon and spoken about depression quite eloquently. And this is what he says. Depression is recurring and cyclic. What we have is treatments, not cures. You're really never free of it. You're always living in the shadow of it. You're always having to be prepared for a recurrence and be ready to stave it off. This is certainly true in my life. After 18 years of depression-free living, I didn't think that depression could recur, but it did, and it lasted 9 months, culminating in my admission to the hospital and doing ECT. I'm not alone in this experience. I've been running my depression support group for 15 years, and in many instances, people have left after they felt better, but have returned years later because they had a relapse. Just recently, a woman who was experiencing anxiety when she came in had been free of it for 6 or 7 months, and then one day it returned, just out of the blue. Another man had again been experiencing a good mood for many, many months, and then a conflict at work and a relationship conflict suddenly plummeted him to a 3 out of 10 in terms of his mood scale, whereas before he was experiencing a 6 out of 10. So, as Andrew Solomon said, you never know when this thing can come back and bite you. As of the making of this video, I have been in recovery for 6 months. Each night before I go to sleep, I express my gratitude for another day of emotional sobriety. And yet, I have a silent fear that I'll wake up in the morning and be back in the dark house. And dark house is the term used by Teddy Roosevelt to describe his depression. And by the way, many other great world leaders have suffered from depression, and very many famous people. So again, there's no shame in it. Because my recovery is so new, I don't really trust it yet. And this can be compared to a recovering alcoholic in his early stages of recovery who's nervous that one day a temptation might come along that leads him to drink. What then can we do to minimize the chance of relapse? The first thing is to realize that recovery from depression is not a single event, but an ongoing process. This means you have to practice your recovery strategies each day, one day at a time. What does this look like? It means, again, applying the tools and techniques we talk about in this channel, like creating a vision statement, staying connected to others, exercising, eating a balanced diet, etc. One thing that encourages me in my recovery is Isaac Newton's first law of motion. And it says that a body in motion will stay in motion unless it is acted upon by an external source. This means that unless some trauma or unexpected stress occurs in my life, I will be able to maintain my recovery and keep it rolling along, so to speak. To conclude, I'd like to hear from you, my viewers. What do you do to ensure your recovery and not take it for granted? How do you deal with the fear of relapse? You can leave your comments in the comments section or send me an email at douglasbloch@gmail.com. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. If you want to learn more about this work or subscribe to my channel, you can visit my website, healingfromdepression.com. You can click on the subscribe button up in the right-hand corner here, or simply click on the links in the closing credits of this video. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you.